She found a son again in a forgotten corner of the world, where the forest pressed close against the hills and the wind carried the scent of pine and sorrow. Old Eleanor lived alone in a weathered cottage that creaked like her bones. 71 winters had carved deep lines into her face, each one a silent testament to loss. Her husband had slipped away years ago, taken by the quiet cruelty of time. But it was little Tommy, her grandson, her light, who had truly broken her. Those golden afternoons still haunted her. Tommy toddling behind her in the garden, chubby hands clutching a tiny spade, his laughter bright as birdsong. They planted beans together, stacked firewood against the coming cold, and every night she told him stories of kindness that always won in the end. His small arms around her neck had been the only thing keeping the darkness at bay. Then winter came like a thief. Fever stole into the boy's body and would not leave. Eleanor sold everything, her wedding ring, the silver locket, the last of the good china, just to buy medicine that did nothing. She sat by his bedside for weeks, grinding herbs with trembling fingers, whispering prayers into the freezing air. One dawn, as snow sealed the world in silence, Tommy breathed his last. The house died with him. The garden went wild. The hearth grew cold. Morning after morning, Eleanor sat on the porch, staring down the empty dirt road, wondering why the earth kept turning when her heart had stopped. One spring morning, when the frost was barely gone from the grass, a stranger appeared at the gate. He was 18, maybe 19, tall and thin, dressed in patched clothes the color of earth, carrying an old woven basket on his shoulder. His hair was the same unruly brown as Tommy's had been. His eyes held the same reckless hope. "Good morning, ma'am," he said softly, as if afraid to startle her. "My name's Lucas. I live over the ridge. I noticed you're out here alone. May I help with anything?" Eleanor's throat tightened. The boy looked so much like her ghost that pain flared fresh and sharp. She stood up too quickly, voice cracking like dry wood. "I don't need help. Go on now." Lucas only smiled, small, sad, understanding. "You remind me of my grandmother," he murmured. Then he turned and walked away, footsteps fading into the trees. But he came back. Every day he returned, quiet as a deer. He mended the sagging gate without being asked. He chopped and stacked firewood until the pile stood higher than the porch rail. He scattered grain for the neglected hens and pulled weeds from the forgotten herb beds. Eleanor watched from behind lace curtains, torn between fury and longing. Pride told her to drive him off. Grief begged her to let him stay. One misty dawn she stepped outside and found him splitting logs, shirt damp with sweat, humming under his breath. The axe rang like a heartbeat. "Why do you keep coming back?" she demanded, voice trembling. He lowered the axe and met her eyes. "Because you look like home, ma'am, and because— may I call you mother? Just once." The word struck her like lightning. Rage and grief exploded at once. "Don't you dare!" she shouted, tears spilling. "I'm not your mother. I buried my boy. Don't you mock me with that name." She turned and fled inside, slamming the door so hard the windows rattled. That night she did not sleep. She sat in the dark, clutching Tommy's tiny knitted sweater, rocking back and forth while guilt gnawed her raw. She had driven away the only warmth that had knocked on her door in years. The next morning the road stayed empty. Then the next. A week passed in suffocating silence. On the 8th day she found a folded scrap of paper pushed beneath the door. "Dear Mrs. Eleanor, I'm sorry I hurt you. I never meant to. My own grandmother died last winter, and when I saw you sitting here alone, something in me just knew you. I don't have family anymore. I only wanted to take care of you the way I never got to take care of her. If I've made you sad, I'll stay away. But please know the cottage looks brighter already, because someone is loving it again if, from a distance. Lucas, she read it over and over until the words blurred. Then she grabbed her shawl and walked half running through the village, asking everyone she met about the quiet boy who chopped wood for strangers. Someone pointed toward the deep forest. She found him there, swinging the axe in a small clearing, sunlight slanting through the leaves like golden rain. When he saw her, the axe slipped from his hands. "Lucas," she called, voice breaking on the single word. He started toward her, afraid to hope. She reached him and fell to her knees in the moss and pine needles. "Old bones be damned. Forgive me," she sobbed. "I was cruel. I was terrified. You're not replacing him, no one could, but you're here, and you're kind, and I'm so tired of being alone. Come home, child. Come home and let me love you while there's still time." Lucas dropped beside her, wrapping strong young arms around her frail shoulders. "I never left, Mother," he whispered against her silver hair. "I was just waiting for you to let me in." From that day on, the little cottage woke up singing. Flowers returned to the garden. Laughter spilled from the windows again. Evenings found them side by the fire, her telling the old fairy tales, him telling new ones about the boy he used to be and the man he hoped to become. The village whispered of miracles, how the saddest house in the valley had become the warmest. And on quiet nights, when the stars burned especially bright, Eleanor would look at the young man sleeping across the room, and feel Tommy's small hand squeeze hers from somewhere beyond the veil just once, gently, as if to say, "It's all right, Grandma, you loved again. You let the light back in." Some mothers are born of blood. Some are chosen by heartbreak and grace. In the end, Eleanor found her son again, not the one she lost, but the one the universe sent when she was finally brave enough to open the door.